Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. Remember when I first started my YouTube channel and I used to sit here and upload videos way back when I didn't even know how to make a thumbnail? I still don't really know how to make a thumbnail, but I thought I'd sit here because I'm doing this video. It should not be long. I mean, after the one I uploaded yesterday, Love After Lockup, 50 minutes, who the hell has time for a 50-minute video? You might as well just watch the show. This is gonna be quick. I don't have any notes. It's kind of on the fly. I've decided I'm going to start reviewing My Big Fat Fabulous Life. The new season just started last week. I don't know what season this is. I don't even know the name of the episode. I'll have it in the description below. But I thought first, before I get into the recap of last week's episode, because not really much happened. It never really does. In the first episode, it's more just a reintroduction to the characters. I kind of want to give my brief history with this show and catch you up on what happened last season so you know where we are this season. Now, I remember when the show started some years ago, I watched the first season and I didn't think it was like good or bad. I was indifferent to it, really. It didn't really grab me because it's just a show about this single girl and her friends living her fabulous life. And if I want to watch that, I'll just tune into my own life. I mean, especially when it first started, like that's exactly where I was. Granted, now I have a few more friends who are married with kids, but I mean, yeah, like it just, you know, granted, I don't own a dance studio and I don't struggle with my health and my weight in the way that she does, but that's really not the point of the show. The point of the show is that, you know, despite these things, she still has like this fabulous life. Good for her. I let it go after the first season until a few months ago. I was watching Sheality TV. She's a YouTuber here on YouTube, and she was doing this recap on last season about My Big Fat Fabulous Life, and she was talking about how Whitney, who, if you don't know, Whitney is sort of the star of the show, her fiance Chase, during sort of a break they were having, went and had a bub on her. And if you don't know what a bub is, that is a break up baby. And I thought, oh my gosh, have I been missing out on a show I should have been reviewing? And she also went on about how like she lost her wedding ring in the ocean. I thought, okay, I gotta watch this show. You know, at the time I was like, I had nothing to watch, so I binge watched. I didn't just watch that most recent season, but I went back another season because I wanted to see how she met Chase, how their relationship unfolded. And so I would just have it on when I was cooking, cleaning, getting ready for work, and boy did I catch up. So what I didn't really remember about Whitney as far as that first season went, and maybe this personality change occurred over the season, but I don't remember her being like so entitled. And I don't know if that's really how she is or if she's just like putting on this personality for the TV show. And also how she was always putting herself in these sort of precarious situations. Like I don't want to say she has a chip on her shoulder, but she definitely, like, she has something to prove all the time. So she's gonna do what everybody can do, and sometimes, girl, you can't do it. And that's okay. Like, you know, she, you know, would like get herself, you know, kind of stuck out in the middle of a lake and she couldn't get back, so they'd have to row over there and help her in, or she just has to like jump over this log as they're doing a hike when you can just walk around. I would have walked around, and now they're having, and it's just like I would just roll my eyes like, Whitney, like it's not necessary. But anyway, so really let's get to the main the main like juicy scandal that happened last season. Okay, but first let me tell you, Whitney is from Greensboro, North Carolina. That's where she grew up. It's where her beloved parents still live. It's where her dance studio is. It's where the show took place like all these seasons. She was on a dating app one day and swiped on this guy, Ryan, and they met up. And although it wasn't a love match, they did sort of connect on a business tip, okay? Because he is a physical trainer, like fitness trainer, and she's on this like road to getting healthy and fit and being like a weightlifter. And so they decide to start this business, No BS Active, where they get together, they record workouts, you know, modified if you're a little bigger, if you're more fit like Ryan. And here's the thing, you cannot tell me that Ryan saw her on a dating app and swiped because he thought like it was a love match. No, because if you know Ryan or you watch the show or you want to take my word for it, Whitney is not his type in any way, shape, or form, okay? He saw her on the app, recognized her from TV, and saw this as an opportunity to, you know, kind of get some exposure, up his, like, you know, physical training fees, start a business, make money that way. He is what we call in reality TV an opportunist. And I'm not necessarily mad at him for that, because Whitney was down to, you know, engage in this business. And, you know, I don't know if she would consider being used. I mean, she was making money for the business too, so she's fine with it. I'm fine with it. You like it, I love it, great. But Ryan is also very savvy in the sense that he reminded me of Spencer from The Hills. Y'all remember Spencer. Remember years ago when Heidi and Spencer first got together and he started bringing Brody around so Brody could date like the real star of the show, Lauren, and they could just all be on TV and all be famous. It's kind of what I felt like Ryan was doing because yes, he's on the show, but he needs more insurance. So he decides to bring around his friend, his homeboy, his old frat bro, Chase, to introduce him to Whitney, and within like 10 seconds, Whitney and Chase are a couple. They're boyfriend, girlfriend, they're in love, they're together. And to like garner more insurance, Ryan even attempts to pursue a relationship with one of Whitney's friends, Heather. Again, no way his type at all. But it was a cute few episodes to watch him kind of like, you know, try to go out with her. I mean, I think Heather was smart enough to realize she was being used as a storyline. And yeah, you might be cute and this might be a fun little fling, but I mean, she never let it go any further than that. And he, of course, has to chalk it up to like, oh, she doesn't want a relationship because she's still in love with Buddy. I mean, that's his pride, that's his ego, whatever. Who cares about that? Anyway, also, if I forgot to mention, Chase owns a bar in Wilmington, North Carolina. So was this also an opportunity, not just to do a solid for his friend to get more airtime, but also to promote his bar and business? Maybe. What's in it for Whitney though? Well, I mean, Chase provides a really good storyline. He's cute. They can maybe like, you know, talk about marriage, maybe move in, like who knows? But we know that she can milk him for a good storyline. I think that's what they were getting from each other. Because if you're asking me, do I think that their relationship was real? Yes and no. I mean, I think they were really together. I think they cared about each other. Were they like in love? I don't know about that. I think Whitney was in love with the idea of possibly meeting somebody, settling down, getting married, starting her family. Like, yeah, that's all enticing. But I mean, Chase, I mean, I don't know. Okay. Maybe it started out just kind of like as this exchange, you know, I can use you as a storyline. I can promote my business. Maybe they really did get feelings because at the end of that season, he actually proposes to her in Paris at the Eiffel Tower. She says yes. So when the next season starts, they're engaged. They're going to start planning the wedding. But now what was never really highlighted or talked much about in that previous season that they met was that yes, he lives in Wilmington, North Carolina, which is a good 6 to 8 hour drive from Charlotte. Okay, so they've been engaging in this long distance relationship, which again wasn't really highlighted when they first got together, but now it's like the point of contention. She doesn't want to move any further away from Greensboro than Charlotte because, you know, her parents are there, they're getting older, she's worried. Totally fair. He is in Wilmington and cannot leave because remember, he's got this business that's new, that's he's a full partner of, and he actually works like as a bartender and has to be there. He was always coming over to visit her apparently, and she had only gone to Wilmington like once. So I mean, yeah, that's how invested she was. So that's the big storyline that's happening. He's pressuring her to move. She's like not budging. She takes her mom to Wilmington to meet his family, to see the bar for the first time. And this is where she loses her ring. They're at the beach and she's frolicking around and it slips off and it like washes away. And if you ask me, she was not devastated enough and he was not pissed off enough that this ring just floated away in the ocean. If that had been me and my like diamond engagement ring, I would have just followed the ring into the surf and called it a day, right? That's why I'm wondering, like, is it that real? You know, Sheality TV had mentioned that when that happened, she saw that as like a bad sign and a bad omen. And I agree 100% if this was real, but it didn't, they, like I said, they didn't seem upset enough for me to believe that, like, really, did that really just happen? Anyway, at this point, her and her mom go back to Charlotte and the whole lockdown panorama happens. So she's staying with her mom in her house. The dad's back in like Greensboro with the brother. Chase is in Wilmington. The business, obviously No BS Active, is like put on hold. You know, the whole world is on hold and filming kind of stops. And it's during this time we don't really see, you know, the cameras aren't there to catch that. This is where the breakdown of Whitney and Chase's relationship happens. I don't know if they were like on an official break or if they were really broken up, but they weren't communicating. She went on vacation. He couldn't reach her. She wasn't returning his calls. They weren't getting along, and he cheats on her with some girl. I'm sorry, not some girl, an ex-girlfriend, and he gets her pregnant. And this wasn't like a one night, I ran into my ex, we hooked up, she's pregnant, but I want to be with you and work this out. He says like he wants to be there for the kid and he wants to make a go of his relationship with his ex. really makes me wonder, was she really an ex-girlfriend or was she his girlfriend all along? Or maybe like his girlfriend on hold. Did the ex-girlfriend tell him, you know what, you have this opportunity to be on a show, you know, promote your business, your bar, get it on TV, do what you have to do, I'm gonna turn a blind eye, and when you're done with that, I'll be here waiting? Was it that? Because you can't tell me that you were one day engaged to Whitney, ready to marry and spend the rest of your life with her, and then the next day, just kidding, I'm gonna get back together with my ex. Like, that's just too, the turnaround is too fast. Something's not quite clean in the milk. Something's off for me, okay? Of course, Whitney's devastated. I mean, it's one thing to be broken up with. It's another thing that you're having a baby on me. And it's another thing that you're going to work it out with the ex-girlfriend. I mean, again, if this was real life, this would be very devastating. They decide to meet up to have this sort of one last closure conversation to their relationship. They meet at a park to distance, and you know, she's sad, she's crying. How can he do this? Like, all the things he promised, like, they're supposed to have kids, they're supposed to be together, they're supposed to get married and have the white picket fence. He's getting all of that and she gets nothing. She's right back where she started, and yeah, that sucks. And there's really nothing he can say but, I'm sorry, I didn't mean for this to happen, but it happened, I got to be there for the kid, and you know, I want her to have both her parents. And well, isn't that convenient then that you just happen to get your ex-girlfriend pregnant and she's down to be with you too? It's just like, I don't know, you guys. But, you know, Whitney put on a good enough act. And like I said, it's embarrassing. If anything else, I'd be like embarrassed that you totally did me so dirty on national TV. But I mean, it's a reality show, you know, produced, storylines, take it with a grain of salt. Anywhere, where we are today, now with this new season, okay? Whitney's back. She's back again, and she's left Charlotte, moved back to Greensboro, into the house that she owns, that she was renting, you know, while she was away. She's doing renovations, remodeling. This is like a fresh start for her. Her friend Ashley comes over to kind of look around, be the sounding board, just so we can like catch up as the viewers with Whitney. She said she hasn't talked to Chase since, you know, they last spoke. She feels like she's in a healthy place in terms of moving on. You know, she went to therapy, she's getting over it. She just joined this like learn a language app. You know, she's met this French man on the app who lives in France but speaks, you know, perfectly fluent English. And you know, the only word she's learned so far in French is croissant, because really they just talk and hang out on FaceTime. She's got a crush on him, which is harmless enough, but I mean, is she really thinking of pursuing this guy? Because he lives in France, okay? You didn't even want to move 8 hours to Wilmington. Are you ready to move to a whole nother continent across the country to be with Frenchman? And we call him Frenchman because he does not want his face seen, so it's always blurred out, nor does he want his name shown. So we're just going to call him Frenchman, okay? She's got a crush. They're flirting on the phone. You know, he calls when her friends are there so the friends can see him. They say he's super hot, he's super cute, you know, and they're excited that Whitney's, you know, she's all giggly and giddy and girly, and she's really seeming to have moved on from Chase. Okay, yeah, it's fun to like indulge, but again, you're not really seriously thinking of pursuing this for real, are you, Whitney? Because then when her other friend Todd comes over and she feels him on the Frenchman, he rolls his eyes and says, oh, this is classic Whitney, like, you know, pursuing men who are geographically unattainable, just the way Chase was. And it's true, like, and we can get into this later because obviously Frenchman is going to be like a real long storyline this season. But yeah, why are you going after men or being with men who aren't like local, you know, so you can just always be the poor me, I'm single, I can never find anybody. Well, I mean, maybe if you look a little closer to home, maybe we can try that, Whitney. I don't know. Anyway, if I forgot to mention, Buddy is Whitney's roommate again in the house, but he's never there because he has a new girlfriend who doesn't live very close by, and he's just spending all his time with her, and it bugs Whitney. You know, she's talking to Todd and Ashley, and Buddy calls, says he's in the neighborhood. Does she mind if he stops by to pick up some stuff? She says no. Ashley and Todd are confused and ask her, like, doesn't he live here? Like, why is he calling for permission? And she says she doesn't know, that basically this is just like, you know, where his mail is sent and his clothes are kept. He's never there, but she can't really complain because he's paying half the mortgage. And I'm like, yeah, what's there to complain about? It sounds like a win-win situation to me. Like, he pays half the mortgage and he's never there and you have the place to yourself. What's the problem? Well, the problem is that Whitney and Buddy have this weird relationship where they're friends, but a little more than friends, but not really, even though they have hooked up in the past. and he is her good friend Heather's ex-boyfriend, but they have this pact that like if neither one of them are like with anybody at 45, they'll be together. They wrote a contract. It's just like dumb. Like, be happy. I mean, I get, you know, she's telling her friends she feels ignored and forgotten and left behind and dismissed, and this house is just sort of his in between. Like, girl, he's your roommate, he's your tenant, not your son. I don't know why you're keeping dibs on him. If you're hurt feelings because, you know, sometimes when friends get into new relationships, they're just all consumed and you don't hear from them for a while, well, give him a little bit of a honeymoon phase. Give him a little bit of grace and time. He'll come back around. He always does. He's Buddy. He's like the baby man, like schleppy, and he can't, like, you know, he's just a mess to me. I never get like the allure of Buddy, and I'm not trying to like hit below the belt, but he's not like I mean, everybody thinks he's so funny. He's not funny to me. I remember the first season, one of the storylines was that, you know, I should say Whitney thought he was so hilarious that he should be a stand-up comic. So she signed him up for amateur night and just like shoved him on stage. He had nothing prepared, nothing written down. He's trying to wing it. He bombed like embarrassingly. And I was sitting there thinking, like, they do realize like stand-up comedy is an art form and a craft that has to be worked on, and you just think Buddy's that. Because even like, you know, some people you meet or you're friends with are just naturally funny. They couldn't necessarily be stand-up comedians, but they're just funny all the time. Like, I think that's what they thought Buddy was. But to me, like, Buddy doesn't ever make me laugh. He's just like, he's a baby man. You know, they're like a baby won't, like, yeah, no, not Buddy. Anyway, she's all butthurt that he's never around. He comes to pick up his stuff. He's like in and out, can't stay, gotta go by. So I mean, that's the Buddy situation. Also, because, you know, Whitney and Chase broke up, that kind of left Ryan, her business partner, in this sort of weird spot because he's still best friends with Chase. Whitney's his business partner. They end up parting ways. You know, she leaves Charlotte. She moved there for the business, really for Ryan. But now that that's not happening, there's really no need for her to be there. That's also why she moved back to Greensboro, to be closer to her family, her friends, and she's partnered up with Jessica, her weightlifting coach. Now she is doing No BS Active. It's really taking off, so much so they have hired Ashley, Whitney's friend, to sort of handle the admin side. I'm trying to think of all like the main points here. So now, you know, Whitney's parents, they go to get their second vaccinations. Whitney takes them with her brother, but she hangs out in the car, lays back, is eating popcorn. The mom like trips and falls on the curb, falls on her back, but gets up, dusts herself off, says like, don't say anything, I'm fine, especially don't tell Whitney. Do Whitney see? No, Whitney's laid back, scarfing on her popcorn. She didn't see anything, don't worry about it. Now Whitney wants to plan a big barbecue for everybody. Jessica's boyfriend, Todd, Heather, Ashley, her parents, her brother, everybody's invited because they haven't seen each other. She calls up Buddy to make sure he'll be there, asks if he can bring the meat for the barbecue. He says yes. Everybody gets there except for Buddy. He's really late. You know, there's the potato salad, the corn, the root beer floats. Where's the fucking meat? Where's Buddy? You know, she's sitting there wondering why she even like tasked Buddy with bringing the meat, because he's so irresponsible and can't be counted on. Yeah, he's a baby man. You can't rely on a baby to do anything. You know, like, time is ticking by. Heather's like, I gotta go. I'm sorry. I'll see you guys later. I can't wait around any longer. Buddy does finally show up. They, you know, fire up the barbecue. They all eat. Ashley sort of spills the beans on the Frenchman, you know, that Whitney's talking to, and everybody's just like, whatever. Like, they don't take it seriously. He's the Frenchman in France. Like, Whitney, it's just Whitney being Whitney. Everybody kind of finishes their food. Now it's just Buddy and Whitney left there. She asks him, are you going to stay the night? Are you going to be here for the evening? He says no. He's going back to his girlfriend's house, and she's just tells him they need to have a talk. He asks what about. She says later. Now's not the time. No, he really wants to know. Is it serious? Because you're making this serious. No, we'll talk about it later. You know, I don't want to get into it now. It's been a long night. You know, we'll talk about it later. It's just her, like I said, being upset that he's never around, that he's using her house as an in-between place, and that just bothers her so much. I mean, will you be more bothered when he moves out and you're stuck paying all of the mortgage? I mean, I'm sure you can afford it, but why if you don't have to? That's it, you guys, pretty much it. Let me know what you think. Are you guys interested in these reviews? I want to do this show. I think I'm keen to review it because I don't think the reviews are going to be long. And because after yesterday's upload that took forever, by the way. It was way too long. And the shows that I have been reviewing, You and Me and My Ex, Love After Lockup, it's these like couples, so I feel like it takes longer. Or it's just like one person, it could be more condensed. And you know, we're gonna get this meet up with Chase. I don't know why. We're gonna finally get to meet Frenchman. You know, he's gonna be pixelated and blurred. We're gonna see what that. So I feel like, you know, it's harmless enough fun. And also, you know, like, you know, she's single, I'm single, like maybe I can learn something. Maybe she could teach me a thing or two. I mean, this is the learning channel after all. This is educational programming, so maybe I can pick up a few tips on how to like live a fabulous single life. You know, meet me a Frenchman. I don't know. So let me know what you think. Rate, comment, subscribe. Do you guys watch this show? Let's give it a chance. Let's give it a go, because also, like I said, Love After Lockup ended. I need a new show, so we're gonna kind of dip our toe into this. Nothing too heavy. See how it goes. So thanks for tuning in, and be on the lookout, because the new episode is on tonight. I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna get it up this week. So I'll see you all next time. Have a good night. Bye.